You know, for so many Black families in the UK, the dream is pretty clear, right? A great education, a meaningful career. But what happens when that dream slams into the reality of the workplace? Especially in a sector that's supposed to be all about doing good. Today, we're diving into this story of high hopes, tough realities, and the fight for real, lasting change.
Yeah, this quote from a parent named Kate, it just hits different, doesn't it? It really gets to the heart of everything. She's saying it's not just about, making her daughter a success in the old-fashioned sense. It's about something deeper, inspiring her to be whatever she wants to be, giving her the tools and the belief to forge her own path.
But here's the thing, that amazing ambition, that hope, it doesn't exist in a bubble. It has to enter a professional world that, well, it has its own set of rules, its own culture, and, as we're about to find out, its own really deep-seated barriers.
And wow, look at this contrast. It's jarring. On one side, you have that beautiful dream, higher education, a solid career, feeling fulfilled. But on the other side, the reality for so many Black professionals in the nonprofit world, I mean, they're dealing with white savior tropes in fundraising, the kind that paint whole communities as helpless. They're up against cronyism, where it's all about who you know, not what you know. And just this constant draining stereotyping that makes them have to prove their expertise over and over again. And listen, this isn't just a few isolated stories. The data is, well, it's shocking. A full 70% of Black, Asian, and minority ethnic charity workers surveyed said they have either witnessed or directly experienced racism. In a sector that's whole purpose is to help people. Just let that sink in for a second. That's more than 2 out of every 3 people. And behind that staggering number are real people with real stories, just like this one. Can you even imagine being told that you're the problem? That you just need to be more resilient? This one quote shows the incredible personal cost of it all. The emotional damage, the therapy, the years spent fighting just to believe in yourself again. This isn't just some abstract workplace issue. This is deeply, deeply human.
Okay, so how do all these individual encounters add up to something bigger? Let's dig a little deeper into the workplace experience itself and look at the structural barriers that are really holding people back.
To really get what's happening here, we have to talk about this term, institutional racism. The McPherson report back in '99 gave us this powerful definition. It's not about individuals being hateful, it's about the collective failure of an entire organization. It's about how the system itself, through just plain ignorance, thoughtlessness, and stereotyping, can keep inequality going, even if no one is trying to be racist. The system itself is the issue. So when you look at the charity sector through that lens, a really clear pattern emerges. The union unison highlights some big systemic challenges. Black workers feeling pushed to the margins, young and migrant staff hitting these unique roadblocks, and just a major lack of chances to grow and move up in your career. That, right there, helps explain why there's such a lack of representation at the top. And for some folks, the problems are even more immediate and, frankly, dangerous. Great, let's talk about safety for a minute. Think about a field like social care. It's mostly women, and a lot of them work alone. The risks they face can be extreme. We're talking about a very real threat of harassment, even assault, all while being totally isolated with no immediate backup. Suddenly, this isn't about getting a promotion anymore. This is about basic fundamental safety on the job. But wait, there's another huge piece to this puzzle. To really understand the whole picture, you have to look at the money, or the lack of it. See, all of these workplace problems are happening inside a sector that is being absolutely squeezed financially. And that pressure, it's just getting worse. This chart right here, it just lays out the brutal truth. Only 1/4 of the public sector contracts that charities hold have been updated for inflation. That means for a massive 75% of their government work, their funding is effectively getting cut year after year, while their costs keep going up. That's just not sustainable. And the ripple effects of that are enormous. You've got charities basically subsidizing the government to the tune of £2.4 billion a year. They're often paying for more than a third of the cost of public contracts right out of their own pockets. So when money gets that tight, what's the first thing to get cut? Yep, staff training and development. It's down 25%. The very things that could help fix these inequality issues are the first to get axed. And all of this creates what the sources call a race to the bottom. It makes sense, right? When an organization is under that kind of intense financial pressure, things that should be standard, like fair pay, safe working conditions, diversity programs, they start to feel like luxuries. Good, ethical practices have to take a back seat when you're in pure survival mode.
Okay, so it sounds pretty bleak, but this isn't just a story about problems. It's also a story about resistance and change. There is a really powerful movement building, and it's taking this two-pronged approach, offering a real path forward. So here are the two main fronts in this fight for change. On one side, you have the institutional action. This is unions lobbying for more government funding, demanding transparent pay data, pushing for safer workplaces. Then, on the other side, you have this incredible community and family action. This is parents building up resilience in their kids, providing role models and mentoring, and really thinking strategically about their children's futures.
Let's look at that institutional side a little closer. The blueprint for change is actually pretty straightforward. Step 1, government needs to step up, mandate pay gap data, create incentives for diversity at the top. Step 2, employers have to be held accountable. That means real safety protocols and mental health support, especially for those lone workers. And step 3, unions need to do their part by creating mentoring programs and really empowering their Black members. And at the exact same time, you have this change happening from the ground up. Parents aren't sitting around waiting for the system to fix itself. No way. They're out there actively building what's called cultural capital for their kids. They're instilling a powerful sense of identity, connecting them with role models, and investing in their education, giving them all the tools they need to not just survive, but to challenge these broken systems head-on.
And all of this really brings us to one last crucial question. On the one hand, you have these institutions, strained for cash but facing real pressure to change. And on the other, you have families working tirelessly to equip their kids for a world that's just not fair. So, what do you think? Where does the greatest responsibility for change really lie? Is it with the system that needs a total overhaul, or is it with the individuals who have to fight against it every single day?